As we await the help from our fourth graders, let's bring in someone who is in the middle of all this mess. Joining us now is Doug Wead, senior advisor to the Ron Paul campaign. Mr. Wead, thank you very much for coming back. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Rachel.
Simple question. Who won the Maine caucus?
Well, we won as far as getting the delegates are concerned. And right now, until all the votes are cast, the networks are declaring, or the Republican Party's declaring, Mitt Romney won. However, it's interesting, there's a lot more than what you said. Washington County was the only county that Ron Paul carried 4 years ago. It was his strongest county. And the man who canceled it was a Mitt Romney supporter. That's a little piece of evidence you probably need to add. And the snowstorm he predicted didn't happen, but 4 years before, when all the Ron people came out and made it his only victory, they had 8 inches of snow. And the Girl Scouts met just fine in Washington County while they canceled the caucus. And in every other instance you mentioned, Waldo County, in each of the cities, in Belfast, in New Portland, in Portland, in Waterville, on every occasion, the votes that were lost were Ron Paul votes, and the person responsible for reporting them were Mitt Romney supporters. For example, in one case, the votes were actually transferred from paper to electronics and to the computer, and the lady doing the transfer was a Mitt Romney person. It could be the costliest victory Mitt Romney ever had, because the Romulans are not happy.
So when you say the Romulans are not happy, does that mean that they are contesting this in Maine and they're going to force Maine to revisit its declaration of a winner here, or they're going to channel that outrage into something else that they think will help Mr. Paul?
I don't know, maybe a little bit of both. As I said, you know, we feel okay about delegate selection. I saw one of the networks giving Mitt Romney 8 and giving us 7 delegates. Thankfully, that network doesn't get that privilege, and our numbers show that we're going to capture the majority of the delegates in Maine. But nevertheless, it's not that the victory is so important, it's just losing it that way is kind of tough.
When you were here last week, we talked about the delegate strategy of the Ron Paul campaign. And while it seems arcane to a lot of people who haven't been paying close attention, the basic idea is that in the caucus states, delegates are not allocated directly on the basis of how people vote in the caucuses. The delegates are allocated by a whole separate process. And you essentially think you, forgive the phrase, have gamed the process so that all of the delegates are going to be Ron Paul delegates in a lot of these caucus states, even if the caucus voters themselves didn't choose Ron Paul. That's the impression that we left a lot of people with last week. I want to just have you reiterate if that is in fact what you're doing.
Well, it's different in each state. For example, in Nevada, actually on the first ballot, the delegation that's selected to go to the RNC from Nevada will have to vote for the winner of the beauty contest in Nevada on the first ballot. Thereafter, they can vote as they wish. But unless the candidate that won releases them, which is conceivable the way this contest is going. But in most states, yes, it's decided. The rules are that the state convention will decide who the delegation is, and the beauty contest is totally irrelevant. And those were the rules going into it. It's not a new thing. It's actually how Barack Obama won the Democrat nomination 4 years before. Hillary Clinton carried California. She carried New York. She carried New Jersey, Pennsylvania. I don't know if she carried Ohio. I can't remember Ohio, but she carried a lot of the biggest states. But Barack Obama won the nomination because he worked hard in the caucus states.
But the difference is that in the caucus states where he won by large margins and thereby got the delegates that way, you're claiming the delegates from contests where you didn't win the vote in the caucus. When you were here last week, you talked about thinking that you won Minnesota, won Colorado, won Nevada, that you may have won all, from reading the campaign stuff today, that you may have won all 24 delegates in Maine. In most of those cases, Dr. Paul was not first or is not in contention to be first in terms of the way the votes were counted at the caucus. So that's a real difference between how Obama racked up his delegates, isn't it?
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. The beauty contest in each of those is a non-binding beauty contest that doesn't matter. If we knew it mattered, and in some states it does. In some states, like New Hampshire, for example, the delegates were awarded proportionally based on how they ended in the vote. So we campaigned in New Hampshire, came in second. We contested it. And if the vote in Minnesota was based proportionally on how you how you appeared in the beauty contest, we'd have gotten there and fought. But to say that we're stealing the delegates is not true. Santorum knows the process. Gingrich and Mitt Romney know the process. In fact, it was devised for Mitt Romney. And the way the process is any candidate can have people go, vote in the beauty contest, and stay and elect their own delegates to, in some cases, the district convention, in some cases, the county convention. It's not a big secret. That's been around for a long time. And then if they're patient, they go on to the county convention or district convention, and they elect again new delegates to go to the state convention, where they then elect the delegates that will go to the Republican National Convention. We're the people's movement. We don't have big money. Mitt Romney can literally create money because Goldman Sachs and Bank of America and JP Morgan, they're getting trillions of dollars of electronically created money from the Federal Reserve, and they're the biggest donors that Romney has. We're challenging a very elite system. So we're a people's movement, and we don't have their kind of money, and we have to, as long as we play by their rules and win at it, we can keep going.
Doug Wead, senior advisor to the Ron Paul campaign. Everybody's still treating this like a big secret, but if you and I keep talking about it, I think people are going to figure it out. Thanks for being with us here tonight.
Eventually they will.
I appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. All right, debunking